So the year was about 2001, 2003. I was invited by a good old friend of ours, Luis Cabrera. I wonder where he's at now. He invited me to a Hispanic Chamber of Commerce luncheon, and I decided to go. It was just around the time when I joined the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. And the guy that was talking, I was pretty impressed by him. I think at the time he worked for the Palmdale School District. And he was talking up there, and Luis used to tell me, that's the master, es el maestro, his Spanish is perfect, blah, 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 right? So I was impressed by this guy. And then later on, I met him and we became friends. And then I found out the guy's a legend, a real legend. So I have here in the studio this morning my good friend, the legend, Mr. Isaac Barcelona. Isaac, how are you today?
I am doing well, Jorge. Thank you for inviting me on the show. It's always a pleasure to see what you're doing in the community and the legend that you're becoming and have become in the last decade.
I'm following your footsteps. You have big feet. I have smaller feet, so I'll get close. But, you're a legend, Isaac. I know that you've been in the Antelope Valley for many, many, many years. I think we've known each other for, 20 years or so, right?
Yes. Shawnee and I moved here in 1990.
1990. What brought you to the Antelope Valley?
Affordable housing.
Affordable housing.
Yes.
Yeah, we still need affordable housing, Housing right now, real estate is so high right now here in the AV, but it's still probably one of the lowest around in California.
Yeah. In comparison to, the LA County and stuff, it's still very affordable.
Yeah, it's very, very affordable. So I found out later that you're actually a legend. You're in the Hall of Fame.
Oh, in Mexico.
In Mexico, right?
Yes.
In Mexico. So tell me about your life, your history. Who is Isaac? For those who've never heard of Isaac, which is unbelievable because everybody knows who Isaac Barcelona is, right?
Well, I was born in Mexico City in 1949, but at the age of 1 year old till I was 18, our family lived in Tijuana. So I consider myself from Tijuana. And in 1966, I started playing music. I started, being a musician in the famous Revolution Avenue in Tijuana, which was like the Sunset Strip or like the Vegas Strip at that time, in this hemisphere. And we were the first generation of Mexican musicians or Spanish-speaking musicians that introduced American and British rock and roll to the Hispanic-speaking community or the Spanish-speaking community in Mexico and in the other countries of Latin America. We were the first ones to let our hair grow and had our moms chasing us down the street with scissors,
Mm-hmm.
And so that's where I started in '66. In 1967, I arrived in Los Angeles, Paramount, California, and I started my life in the Los Angeles area. And in 1969, I got back into music full time while living in Los Angeles. And so my career has spanned about 57 years. And I did a lot of really wonderful things. My first year of playing music in Los Angeles, I was Bo Diddley's backup group. And, Bo Diddley's a Hall of Famer who influenced the Beatles and the Rolling Stones and all these people. Mm-hmm. And here I am, backing them up in concert in front of 30, 40,000 people. And it was my musical career from then on. The journey just exploded. It was so beautiful. In the 70s, early 70s, I toured Canada, became very well known up there. And in the 77, 78, and 79, I did projects in the recording studio with people from Earth, Wind and Fire, Toto, Gino Vanelli, Stephen Stills, Tierra, El Chicano, and, did a lot of records with those people and, a lot of my original songs. And in 1979, I had 6 of my songs on the radio, all over the United States and in places in Canada, that had radio stations in Spanish. And so, from that, being a musician from Tijuana in 2011, I got inducted into Mexico's Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. along
Wow.
with Carlos
Wow.
Santana, Javier Batis, Los Moonlights, Los Tijuana Five, you name it, Los Solitarios, really, groups that started in the 60s. And I was part of that, and it was just wonderful. And it got me back into music because in the mid-90s, I kind of walked away from music and started my life in the community in the Antelope Valley.
Uh-huh.
I mean, when we first got here 34 years ago, I was the entertainer at O'Hara's in
O'Hara's.
Palmdale.
I
In
remember
Palmdale.
O'Hara's.
Yeah,
That
there
was,
was one in Lancaster and there was one in Palmdale.
Uh-huh.
And I was I was the entertainer in Palmdale. I played live music Wednesday and Thursdays, and then we introduced karaoke and DJing on the weekends. And so that was a 4.5 year, experience there at O'Hara's in Palmdale. And that's where I got to meet a lot of people. And of course, in 1997, I founded the Hispanic Chamber with Salvador Tadera, and my community involvement just took off from there. But that's my musical career. I am back into music now since I got inducted in 2011. I have a group in Mexico, Los Hermanos Rivera, who are my backup group. And when we go down there, about once a month, they back me up. We do shows and stuff like that. And it's been really cool.
Really? I had no idea that you were in the music industry, because I met you through the community, through the, Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. And one day you invited me to your house. You guys were doing a barbecue or something at the house, right? And I showed up, and I was kind of shy, embarrassed. I didn't know any people. I was new out here. And I went out there, and then you pull out your guitar, and you started singing. Like, dang, that guy can sing too. I had no idea.
Very few people know me in that sense here in the Antelope Valley because I became well known being in leadership in the community and stuff, and so not too many people knew that about me, and yeah.
Yeah. So during the chamber years, I know that you're the founder of the chamber, right? And I'm part of the chamber still. I'm still with the Hispanic Chamber of Commerce. As a matter of fact, we're going to start doing a podcast for them. I'm not sure if we're going to go weekly or bi-weekly, but we're going to highlight the members. We're going to bring a member here. We're going to talk about their business and promote the members.
That's a good thing.
Part of becoming a chamber member.
Get people, know that they're part of the community and that they're visible. People know they're there,
right?
And that enhances their confidence and their marketability, and their business will grow. So that's good.
Right. What is this?
Oh, well, now that I'm kind of retired, as you know, I mean, I kind of reinvented myself about 3 or 4 times in my life, starting as a musician. Then I started working at Palmdale School District, ended up being their spokesman, I was there for 12 years. And then got into Chambers of Commerce and founded the Hispanic Chamber, and then was the president CEO of the Palmdale Chamber of Commerce. And after that, I got into politics because I had been writing an opinion column at La Voz Latina, La Gaceta, all of the Hispanic publications, including the Valley Press. I had a weekly column, and it was opinion columns on politics and things that were
going on. You just brought some memories because I'm the founder for El Sol del Desierto out here.
Yes.
And when I did El Sol del Desierto, I reached out to you, and you had a column in my newspaper also.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. That's a lot of memories there.
Yeah.
A lot of memories there. So, I got into politics with Steve Knight, and I became his district director in the California State Assembly, in the California State Senate, and then we got elected to the United States House of Representatives as a congressman. And so we were there for 4 years, worked with 2 presidents, 2 years with Obama and 2 years with Trump. And, this little kid from Tijuana, to be in that atmosphere and in that world, to me, it was an incredible journey, So I retired about 3 or 4 years ago now, and I've written 6 books. So I wanted to introduce you to Perfectly Imperfect, This Could Be You. This is my first book that I wrote in the last 3 years, and you can see a legacy book full size, full color inside and out. And half of the book is my life's best writings on everything. Anything a human being could think about is in here that I've reflected upon. And the other half is full color pictures and captions illustrating the last 30 years of history in the Antelope Valley from my perspective. And because I was involved in schools, in chambers of commerce, in politics, military, and sports, this book contains all of the movers and shakers and the people that were out there making things happen. You're in this book.
I'm on the book?
Yes, because you're one of those guys that was out there and still are out there making things happen.
Wow.
So I want, anybody in the community should have this book because it really tells you what our history is here. And nobody's done that before. I mean, Larry Chimboli wrote a book about the Palmdale City Council, but this book contains everything, including the fact that we are the world's aerospace capital. And not a lot of people know that. The space shuttle was built here, the Global Hawk, the B-1 bomber, astronauts train here like Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin. Aviation was created by the Wright brothers, but it was developed at Edwards Air Force Base. And that's a magical thing that we have here. If you can see the jacket I'm wearing, one of my most honored experiences I lived through was the fact that I was appointed honorary commander of the F-22 Raptor squadron at Edwards Air Force Base. And I'll tell you, a little kid from Tijuana being around that kind of thing, again, I was a kid in a candy store. It was just wonderful. The F-22 Raptor is the most advanced airplane in the history of mankind, And that's what helps us preserve our freedom in the world.
It's amazing. You have an amazing story, man.
I do. I've been very fortunate. It's been a very illustrious life, and I've had to reinvent myself 3 or 4 times. And each time it took me into a world that I didn't know before, and it just opened up for me. And I'm very grateful.
How can someone get a hold of those books there?
They're available at store.bookbaby.com. That's store.bookbaby.com.
Book Baby.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so we can purchase the books there and things like that?
Yes.
You say you have published 6 books?
Yes, there are 6 books available there. One of them obviously is Perfectly Imperfect. Another one is Songs for the Gypsy. Let me show you this one.
Okay.
Songs for the Gypsy is my 57-year career in music. Everyone I worked with, recorded with, toured with, performed with, and who influenced me in my career. That's another book. I'll show you another one that has to do with the Antelope Valley and another one of my journeys. For 18 and a half years, I had one of the elite nationwide teams, men's tournament softball teams in the United States. And for those 18 and a half years, we won 93 championships, including 13 either World Series or national championships. And so there's a book about that, and it's this one here.
Barcelona Bandits.
Barcelona Bandits Armada, champions and friends forever. And a lot of the people in the community that are ball players are in this book. So, there's a lot of interest to the Antelope Valley in the books that I've written, know. And so, I recommend that you go to store.bookbaby.com. This is my latest, most recent book. It's called Our Life, Legacy, and Baja. And Baja stands for the fact that Shani and I, we built a home in Rosarito. And it's our Shrek Castle, as she calls it. And we have a life down there that is as rich and rewarding as what we made here. And we love it there. And we spend time there and time here now as well, in our retirement.
Yeah, I like Rosarito. It's very peaceful, when we go. We haven't been there in a while, but before pandemic. But wife and I used to go down to Rosarito and took the kids, and we'll spend, like a whole week, 7 days over there.
That's great.
And
Yeah.
it's very relaxing, very nice.
Well, we live about a half hour from Valle de Guadalupe, which is the wine country.
Mm.
And it's every bit as beautiful and it's nice and it's as Napa Valley or as Paso Robles. And it's 30 minutes from our house, So we spend a lot of time there and in Ensenada. And yeah, I recommend it. It's really cool.
Yeah, one day I gotta go. I'll come visit you.
Yes,
I'll come
absolutely.
visit you. So what's next?
Well, Shawnee is just about retired. So we've been traveling the world. That's what
Really?
we've been doing. We've been traveling the world. Our last trip was to Greece. We went to Athens. We went to Patmos Island. We went to Turkey, Istanbul, Ephesus, and we went to Cyprus, which I didn't know existed, a country named Cyprus.
Cyprus.
And we ended up in the Holy Land, Israel,
Wow.
which was one of my bucket list items in my life. And I'll tell you, we've been to about 27 countries in our journeys and travels. And every country has something special. They all have monuments and palaces and amazing landmarks and stuff. And but the Holy Land is on another level altogether. You go there, and all of the stories and things you heard since you were a little infant, all of a sudden you're walking in those streets where Jesus walked, and
Right.
the stories of the Bible and stuff, and it just it hits you right in the soul because it confirms everything you've always believed in or heard about, and we were very, very grateful to be there.
Wow. It's amazing. Like I say, you are a walking book, Isaac. You're amazing. You have been an inspiration to many of us, to many people here in the Antelope Valley. You've certainly been an inspiration to me, so I'm following your footsteps right behind you. I won't be a legend, and I don't play music. I don't do all those things, but I do like to get around and help the community, be involved in things.
And you do a great job of that, and I really appreciate your words. You're very kind. And, ultimately, when it's all said and done, we come here and hopefully leave a better world than what we found when we leave. And to hear that, I've been able to influence or inspire other people, that's everything to me because I was inspired and influenced by other people. And, you pass it down.
Right.
You pass it down.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I like to continue this conversation. We got to cut it short, so we have to, stop here. But I like to do a second episode, maybe a third one, and talk more about your life and your involvement with the chamber, more, into the chamber and things like that. I'd also like to invite your wife to come on over because I know that she's also been an icon in the community like you. I know that she ran for city council or something.
Well,
to
she
that
was
matter.
elected to the Palmdale School District Governing Board of Trustees, and she served for 4 years. And during her tenure, she built, I think, 2 or 3 schools that have her name on it, And then she was appointed by Governor Arnold Schwarzenegger to be a director at the Antelope Valley Fair. And she was there for 9.5 years and was part of a lot of the, the new things that happened because it was the new fairgrounds.
Right.
And she also, she's had a business here since 1990 when we moved here. She had Shawnee's Beauty Oasis, and then she got into real estate. She's a broker now, and she was managing over 1,000 properties in 3 different counties. And so she's got a story, and I think she's been very inspirational to a lot of people herself. And yeah,
maybe our next episode you'll bring her with you.
Absolutely.
And we'll talk to her too, and But hey, Isaac, thanks for coming in. Thanks for getting up early this morning. I know I woke you up at 5 this morning for you to be here at 8. Thank you. It's an honor to be called your friend, for you to be my friend, and be able to go to your house here and there. You know, I know we had a pool party
Well,
for your
you helped
birthday.
me celebrate my 75.
Your 75th birthday, yeah.
75th birthday. Yes.
Yeah,
Thank you for being there.
You guys were throwing each other in the pool. Some of those guys that are on this book, on the Barcelona Bandit book, they were there, and you guys were throwing each other in the pool. It was fun. Vicky and I had a great time. But Isaac, thank you. Thanks for being my friend. Thanks for being here. And let's do another episode.
You bet.